and the late Asset Michael of Antigua. All right. Madam Speaker, you see they're disturbing me again? What about the environmental concerns of Ghana Island? What about the EAG? Where is your EAG? All that is out the window. You don't care that Stanford is going to build an artificial reef? You don't know all that don't matter. All that is out the window. No, but that is the points that you argued. When you sued Datotan, you took an investor to court. The first time in the history of any country that an opposition, a majesty loyal opposition, take an investor to court and block an investment. And you said that Stanford was no good for this country. It is the wisdom of Harold Court and your deputy prime minister you have to thank for landing Stanford. Because you no love you and he no love you. And that is the truth, Madam Speaker. That is the truth. And he knows it. The prime minister knows it. Madam Speaker, I want to ask the Honourable Minister of Finance, do we need a new parliament building in this country this time? Yeah. You say, Mr. Minister, that we are going to tighten our belts, that austerity measures, we all have to sacrifice, we all have to pay our fair share. How much is the new parliament building going to cost this country? Why do we need a new parliament building? $20 million, Madam Speaker, to satisfy who? Why do we need a new parliament? What's wrong with this? It has structural defects, it's falling down on us. I'm very comfortable here, Madam Speaker. Now I know, Madam Speaker, that the previous Labour Party government had that on the drawing board and we'll agree to it. But I'm saying that you should put that on hold. That cannot be a priority. When you're telling people you're taking 25% of their salary, that is not right. That is not a caring government. You're telling the people first, and you're going to build a parliament building that costs $20 million, and by the time you add on the interest compounded over 20 years, it's over $60 to $70 million. You're increasing the debt of the country again, whether it's on the balance sheet or off the balance sheet. It is still a contingent liability. Madam Speaker, I left a good ministry that he inherited, that when he goes to work, all the workers tell him, just like Asset Michael. He tells me so. He said, they're telling you, just like the former Minister of Public Works. And he's trying to emulate me. They used to say we're cutting all the sides of the roads and cutting the grass and wasting money. I see you doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing. And all the people come from St. Philip South. You're not employing nobody from City West. You're not employing nobody from Wool East. Or St. Mary's. Yes, all the highways are beautifully well manicured. Yes, your colleagues don't know how you're spending the money. But he can clamp down on you. Wait, he can squeeze you. He can squeeze you, yes. But Madam Speaker, the point is, in all seriousness, you can't eat fiscal balance. You can't eat a balanced budget. That does not put bread and butter on families' tables. And I'm saying, and I'm submitting to this Honourable House, in all humility, that the projects that we created and the policies that the Labour Party government, and we are not without sin, Madam Speaker, I'll be the first to admit that those projects and those policies improved the quality of life of the people of this country over the last 28 years. Those policies, Madam Speaker, allowed the Labour Party government to be in office for 28 long years. And let us be honest, you were in opposition for 28 years. Yes, but you're going to soon be out. Madam Speaker, let us be honest. We did not lose the election. This Labour Party did not lose the election because of bad economic policies or poor fiscal and monetary judgment. We didn't lose the election because we didn't balance the budget and we were not fiscally responsible. We lost the election, Madam Speaker, because we were disunited. We lost the election, Madam Speaker. We were in office too long, for 28 years, and people just naturally and justifiably wanted to change. Especially, shut up, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, tell him to listen.
Sir, don't disturb him. Don't disturb him. Sir?
Madam Speaker, we lost the election, Madam Speaker, because of the disunity. But now we're united, and we are brothers. We're dying in the blood of Labour. And the mistakes that we made of the past farm.
Gentlemen, gentlemen,
Never come back
gentlemen, sir.
Never come back again. These are my brothers and the brothers, blood brothers, the unity of labor. The unity of labor is the salvation of this country. Mark my word, we will be returned to office next 5 years.
Honorable members,
Speaker,
honorable members.
Madam Speaker, young people simply wanted a change. That is the truth. They knew nothing about the contribution of VC Bird to this country. You think a person that's 18 years old, even 25 years old, Madam Speaker, in all honesty, knows about the trials and tribulations of VC Bird and Nova Richards and Ernest Williams? I mean, they don't. They do not, Madam Speaker. And Comrade Lake, who's still living. Madam Speaker, young people just want it. But he deserves more than that. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker,
Gentlemen,
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I want to know what is the government's policy, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you want me to sit until they finish? Because they're keeping me back. And they're disturbing me.
allow him to wrap up.
Please, thank you. I hope I will. Madam Speaker, that is wisdom. Madam Speaker, what is the UPP's policy on procurement of goods and services? You have not exposed that. What is your policy on procurement of goods and services? Tell me what is your policy. But you say you're going to write, the Prime Minister says week in, week out, he's going to right all wrong. And what is wrong will be made right. I want to know what is your policy. I want to know if one single elitist family is going to continue to be the sole crown agent, the official and the unofficial crown agent of the government. Will things be put out, Madam Speaker, to tender? Or will businesses, Madam Speaker, be continued to mark up goods 200%, 300% and 400%? So that brown paper bankers can go. They're talking about integrity in public office. They come to this honorable house and they pass the legislation. But I know that Dr. Court is not going to stay in no government. He's not going to stay in no government on no hanky-panky. So watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Madam Speaker, I'm saying and submitting to the Honourable Prime Minister that if they correct those wrongs, that in itself alone can gain nearly $35 million for the people of this country in the procurement of services and goods. It must be a level playing field. George Ryan has been espousing it for years. I want to see you implement it. I want to see you implement it. You are the Minister of Public Works. Madam Speaker, you know the Prime Minister went on his trip to China. And I was proud, I'm happy for him. Him and Lady Spencer, they did Antigua proud. But all the Prime Minister and the Ambassador to China come back and tell us is how the whole of China come to a standstill, how the lanes were closed off and the highways, and the military and police line the streets in China. But Madam Speaker, the Honourable esteemed Prime Minister doesn't even know that it's the same treatment that the Republic of China. They're the best at diplomacy. The member for St. John's Release and myself accompanied the former Prime Minister, Lester Bird, to China. Remember? We went to China, we went to Hong Kong, we went to Macau. And the same treatment that the Honourable Prime Minister got, we got. Everything came to a standstill. But the Prime Minister coming back and telling us what bed he slept in, what state house he was in, that President Clinton and President Bush sleep in the same bed. I mean, that don't put no food. Tell us about the projects and the stadium and how much money you got from the Chinese. And you know what you learned. But you and your ambassador, they're going on and on and on, Madam Speaker. I mean, on all this pomp and ceremony. They're so engulfed with the pomp and ceremony. I mean, if the Chief Minister of Montserrat or the Prime Minister of Uganda went to China, it would be the same treatment they would get. Same treatment! I mean, come on. I mean, that can't put no food on the tables of people in Point and Grace Farm and Greenville and Cooks Hill. I mean, tell us tangible economic benefits. You have Morris Merchant exposing all kind of documentary showing. I mean, yes, you went on a state visit, but tell us about economic benefits. I'm not interested in Morris Merchant saying the highways and the byways came to a standstill in China.